Tonight, before you close your eyes, I want you to know something. God sees how tired you really are, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Because some kinds of exhaustion cannot be fixed by sleep alone. Maybe lately, life has asked too much from you, too many responsibilities, too many worries, too many silent battles that nobody else fully understands. And even when you try to rest, your mind refuses to become quiet. You replay conversations. You think about the future. You worry about money, about family, about health, about things you cannot control. And night after night, you carry all of it alone. Maybe that is why you are here tonight. Not because everything is okay, but because deep inside, you are searching for peace, a place to breathe again, a place where the pressure finally stops, a place where your heart does not have to stay strong anymore. And maybe you have been pretending for a long time, pretending you are okay, pretending you are not overwhelmed, pretending you are not slowly becoming exhausted inside. But God knows the truth. He sees the tears you never let anyone see. He hears the thoughts you cannot explain. He understands the heaviness sitting quietly inside your heart. And tonight, He wants you to rest. Not just your body, but your soul, because you were never meant to carry all of this alone. So, for the next little while, let the noise of the world fade away. Let the pressure slowly leave your shoulders. Let your breathing slow down, and let this moment become a quiet place between you and God. No pretending, no performance, no pressure, just rest. Because tonight, God is still with you in your exhaustion, in your fear, in your waiting, in your uncertainty. Even now, especially now. So, if your heart feels heavy tonight, if your mind feels tired, if life has become overwhelming, stay here with me. And together, let us place every burden into God's hands. Let us pray for strength. Let us pray for peace. And let us finally rest in the presence of God tonight. Heavenly Father, tonight we come to you with tired hearts. Some of us are carrying burdens that feel heavier than we can explain. And maybe we have been carrying them for so long that we no longer remember what peace feels like. Life can become exhausting sometimes, not all at once, but slowly, quietly, little by little. A disappointment here, a stressful phone call there, another responsibility, another bill, another fear, another long night, spent overthinking things we cannot control. And eventually, the soul becomes tired. Maybe tonight, Someone listening feels emotionally drained. They wake up exhausted. They move through the day exhausted, and they go to sleep exhausted. Not because they are lazy, not because they are weak, but because life has been heavy for a very long time. Father, you see every invisible burden, the pressure nobody talks about, the silent anxiety, the fear about the future, the constant stress. Sitting quietly in the mind, you see the people trying to stay strong for everyone else, while secretly falling apart inside. The parents trying to provide, the person silently grieving, the one worried about money, the one terrified about their health, the one smiling in public while crying in private. Lord, sometimes people become so overwhelmed that even simple things feel difficult. Getting out of bed, answering messages, thinking clearly, sleeping peacefully, and sometimes the exhaustion becomes so deep that people stop asking for happiness. They only ask for relief. Just one peaceful night, just one quiet moment, just enough strength to keep going tomorrow. So tonight, Father, for every exhausted person listening, please bring rest to their heart. Not temporary distraction, not numbness, but real peace, the kind of peace that reaches deep inside the soul, the kind of peace that slowly untangles fear, the kind of peace that reminds a hurting person they are safe with you, Lord. Some people listening tonight feel trapped inside their thoughts. Their mind never stops running, even now, while the room is quiet. Their thoughts are loud. Fear about tomorrow, fear about failure, fear about losing someone they love, fear that life may never become easier. And Father, sometimes anxiety becomes so constant that people forget what calm feels like. But tonight, we ask you to interrupt that fear, interrupt the panic, interrupt the hopelessness, interrupt the exhaustion, and let your presence fill every anxious space tonight. Because you never asked us to carry life alone. You never asked us to hold the entire future in our own hands. And yet, Lord, so many of us try. We try to control everything. We try to fix everything. We try to prepare for every possible bad outcome. And eventually, our minds become exhausted. Our hearts become tired. Our spirit becomes heavy. But tonight, we surrender all of it to you. Every burden, every fear, every anxious thought, every hidden sadness, every silent cry, we place it gently into your hands. And Father, for the person listening right now, who feels like they are reaching their limit, please remind them that weakness does not make them a failure. Being tired does not make them broken. Struggling does not mean you abandoned them. Sometimes people are simply carrying more pain than others can see. And Lord, you see all of it. You see the battles hidden behind the smile. You see the nights they almost gave up. You see the emotional exhaustion nobody else notices. And even now, you remain beside them. So tonight, Father, please slow every racing thought, calm every fearful imagination. Bring peace to every overwhelmed heart. And where life feels chaotic, bring stillness. Where life feels uncertain, bring trust. Where life feels heavy, bring rest. Because, Lord, some people listening tonight have been strong for too long. They do not need more pressure. They do not need more fear. They do not need more bad news. They simply need peace. So let your peace cover this room tonight. Let your peace settle gently over every tired mind. Let your peace quiet the fear that has been growing for too long. And as they lie here tonight, remind them softly that they do not need to solve everything tonight. They do not need to carry tomorrow tonight. They do not need to have all the answers tonight. They only need to rest because you are still God. Even in uncertain seasons, you are still faithful. Even in difficult seasons, you are still near. Even in exhausting seasons. And no matter how heavy life feels tonight, you are still holding them. Even now, especially now. So, Father, while the world grows quiet tonight, let every exhausted heart finally breathe again. Let every anxious mind slow down, and let every hurting soul find rest in your presence tonight. Father, some nights feel heavier than others. Some nights, the silence itself feels painful because during the day, people stay busy. They distract themselves. They keep moving. They answer messages. They go to work. They pretend they are okay. But at night, everything becomes quiet. And suddenly, all the emotions they tried to ignore come rushing back. The sadness, the loneliness, the fear, the memories, the exhaustion. And sometimes, Lord, nighttime becomes the hardest part of life because the darkness feels personal, especially for people who already feel emotionally tired. Father, you know what it feels like to cry silently. You know what it feels like to carry pain that nobody fully understands. And tonight, there are people listening who feel deeply alone, even around other people, even around family, even around friends, because loneliness is not always about being physically alone. Sometimes it is the feeling that nobody truly sees, how much pain you are carrying inside. And Lord, that kind of loneliness can become exhausting. Pretending to be okay, pretending to smile, pretending to stay positive, while privately feeling overwhelmed inside your own mind. Father, some people listening tonight have been fighting emotional battles for a very long time. Battles with anxiety, battles with sadness, battles with fear, battles with hopeless thoughts they are too afraid to talk about. And maybe tonight, someone listening feels emotionally numb, too tired to cry, too tired to explain, too tired to keep pretending. They are strong. Lord, please sit beside that person tonight, right there in the darkness, right there in the silence, right there in the room where they feel alone. Remind them gently that you are still near, because sometimes when pain lasts a long time, people begin to wonder if you have forgotten them. They wonder why life became so difficult, why prayers feel unanswered, why healing takes so long, why peace feels so far away. And slowly, discouragement begins to grow. But Father, tonight we ask you to speak louder than discouragement. Speak louder than fear. Speak louder than hopelessness. Speak louder than the lies, telling them they are abandoned, because they are not abandoned. You were with them during every sleepless night, every silent breakdown, every panic-filled moment, every hidden tear, every night. They stared at the ceiling, feeling emotionally exhausted. You stayed through all of it, even when they could not feel you, even when they stopped praying, even when they became frustrated. You never left. And Father, that matters tonight, because some people listening feel emotionally invisible, invisible pain, invisible grief, invisible exhaustion. But nothing is invisible to you. You see every wound. Inside the heart, you hear every silent cry. You understand every fear they cannot explain with words. And Lord, some hearts have become tired from carrying disappointment. Disappointment in life, disappointment in people. Disappointment in themselves. Maybe they trusted someone who hurt them. Maybe they loved someone who walked away. Maybe they prayed for something that never changed, and slowly their heart became guarded, heavy, afraid to hope again. So tonight, Father, please bring healing to wounded hearts, not rushed healing, not temporary comfort, but deep healing, quiet healing, the kind of healing that happens slowly inside your presence. And for the person listening tonight who feels emotionally broken, please remind them that brokenness does not scare you. You move close to hurting people. You stay near to exhausted souls. You are gentle with tired hearts. So, tonight, let your presence fill every lonely room. Let your peace cover every anxious mind. Let your love reach the people who feel forgotten and where fear has become loud. Bring calm where sadness has become heavy. Bring comfort where hopelessness has grown. Plant hope again, Father. Sometimes people become so tired that they stop believing. Life can become peaceful again. But tonight, please help them breathe again. Help them rest again. Help them believe again. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you remain with them through the darkness. And Lord, if someone listening tonight is secretly struggling with thoughts of giving up, please hold them especially close. Wrap them gently in your peace. Protect their mind, protect their heart. Remind them that this painful season is not the end of their story. There is still hope. There is still purpose. There is still tomorrow. And there is still a God who refuses to leave their side. So, tonight, Father, as the night grows quieter and as tired hearts slowly begin to rest, let every listener remember this. Darkness is not proof that you are absent, because even here, especially here, you are still with them. You are still holding them. You are still loving them. And you are still carrying them through this difficult season tonight. Father, sometimes our minds become tired because we keep trying to carry tomorrow before it even arrives. We think ahead constantly. We imagine problems that have not happened yet. We replay fears over and over again, and slowly, anxiety steals our peace. Maybe tonight, someone listening has been overthinking for hours, lying in bed, physically exhausted, while their mind refuses to rest, thinking about finances, thinking about relationships, thinking about health, thinking about mistakes, thinking about situations they cannot control. And Lord, sometimes fear becomes so loud that people forget what calm feels like. They wake up worried. They go through the day worried. And they fall asleep worried, always preparing for the next problem, always expecting bad news, always afraid something will go wrong. Father, you never wanted your children to live trapped inside fear. Yet so many hearts tonight feel overwhelmed by it. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of losing someone, fear of the future, fear that life may never become peaceful again. And sometimes those fears become so heavy that people feel emotionally exhausted before the day even begins. So tonight, Lord, we bring every fear to you, not just the fears people talk about openly, but the hidden fears, the private fears, the fears buried deep inside the heart, the fear of not being enough, the fear of breaking down, the fear of being alone, the fear of disappointing others, the fear of losing control. Father, you already know every anxious thought before we even speak it. Nothing inside us is hidden from you. And tonight, instead of holding fear tightly, help us slowly release it, little by little, breath by breath, moment by moment, because many of us have become tired from trying to control everything, trying to predict everything, trying to prepare for every possible outcome. But Lord, human hearts were never designed to carry that much pressure alone. That is why, tonight, we surrender it to you, the future, the uncertainty, the unanswered questions, the situations we cannot fix, the burdens we secretly carry every day. We place all of it into your hands tonight. And Father, for the person listening, whose thoughts never seem to stop, please quiet their mind. Let your peace become louder than fear. Let your presence become stronger than panic. Let your calm slow every racing thought, because sometimes people become so mentally exhausted that they do not even know how to rest anymore. Even in silence, their mind keeps fighting. Even in bed, their thoughts keep running. Even during prayer, fear interrupts their peace. But tonight, Lord, please interrupt the fear. Interrupt the anxiety. Interrupt the overthinking and replace it with deep stillness. Remind every exhausted heart tonight that they do not need to figure everything out right now. They do not need to solve their whole future tonight. They do not need to carry the weight of tomorrow. Tonight, they only need to rest in you, because you are already there, inside tomorrow. You already know what is coming. You already understand every situation, every conversation, every uncertainty, every hidden fear. Nothing surprises you. Nothing is beyond your wisdom. Nothing is beyond your care. And Lord, that means we can breathe again. We can release the pressure. We can let go of the need to control everything. We can stop carrying burdens that belong in your hands. So tonight, Father, help every listener release fear slowly, like setting down a heavy weight, like finally exhaling. After holding stress for too long, like resting safely. After a long emotional battle, and where fear has created tension, bring peace. Where anxiety has created exhaustion, bring rest. Where uncertainty has created panic, bring trust. Because, Lord, you have carried people through impossible seasons before. You have stayed faithful through every difficult chapter, and you are still faithful tonight, even now, especially now. So, for the person listening tonight, whose heart feels overwhelmed, please whisper peace over their mind. Whisper peace over their thoughts. Whisper peace over the future they are so afraid of. And let them remember gently that they are not facing tomorrow alone. You will walk with them, step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. So, tonight, they can finally let go. They can finally stop fighting for a little while. They can finally rest. Because you are still holding them, and you will still be holding them when tomorrow arrives. Father, sometimes people become so tired that they stop asking for a better life. They only ask for enough strength to survive another day, because difficult seasons can slowly wear a person down, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and after carrying pain for a very long time. The heart can begin to feel weak. Hope becomes harder to hold on to. Simple things feel heavier. Even getting through the day can feel exhausting. So tonight, Lord, we ask you for inner strength, not loud strength, not the kind of strength the world talks about, but quiet strength, gentle strength, the kind of strength that keeps a person going, even when life feels overwhelming. Because, Father, there are people listening tonight who feel emotionally drained. People who have been fighting silently for months, maybe years, trying to stay strong, trying to keep moving, trying not to fall apart. And yet, deep inside, they are tired, so very tired. Lord, please strengthen those hearts tonight, especially the hearts that feel close to giving up, the hearts carrying grief, the hearts carrying disappointment, the hearts carrying silent sadness that nobody else fully understands. Father, some people listening tonight feel discouraged because healing is taking so long. They thought things would feel better by now. They thought the pain would be gone by now. They thought peace would have returned by now. But instead, they still feel exhausted, still anxious, still emotionally heavy, and slowly they begin wondering if they will ever feel normal again. But Lord, please remind them tonight that healing is not always fast. Sometimes healing happens quietly, slowly, little by little, like the sunrise, slowly pushing back darkness, like tired lungs, learning how to breathe deeply again, like a wounded heart, slowly learning how to trust again. And even when healing feels invisible, you are still working. Even when progress feels slow, you are still present. Even when strength feels small, you are still sustaining them. So tonight, Father, please renew every exhausted soul. Renew the minds that have become overwhelmed. Renew the hearts that have become discouraged. Renew the spirits that have become weary. And where people feel weak, be their strength, because some listeners tonight feel emotionally empty. They have poured so much energy into surviving that they no longer know how to feel peaceful. They are tired of struggling, tired of overthinking, tired of carrying invisible pain, tired of trying to stay hopeful while feeling exhausted inside. But Father, you are gentle with tired people. You do not shame exhausted hearts. You do not abandon struggling souls. You move closer to them. You stay beside them. You carry them when they no longer feel strong enough to carry themselves. So tonight, Lord, please help every listener breathe again. Not shallow breaths filled with stress, but deep, peaceful breaths filled with calm. And as they breathe tonight, let your peace slowly settle inside them, like warm light entering a dark room, like quiet rain falling after a storm, like rest after a very long battle. Father, some people listening tonight have survived things that nobody knows about. Private battles, hidden fears, lonely nights, silent breakdowns, moments when they almost gave up. And yet, they are still here, still breathing, still trying, still searching for peace. And Lord, that matters, because surviving difficult seasons takes strength too. Even small steps matter. Even quiet endurance matters. Even getting through one more day matters. So tonight, please remind every exhausted heart that they are stronger than they realize. Not because of their own power, but because you have been sustaining them this entire time, even during the nights. They felt abandoned, even during the moments. They felt hopeless, even during the seasons. They felt emotionally shattered. You were still holding them together. And Father, for the listener tonight who feels weak because they keep struggling, please remind them gently that struggling does not make them a failure. Healing takes time. Grief takes time. Recovery takes time. And exhausted hearts need gentleness, not pressure, not shame, not impossible expectations, just grace, just patience, just rest. So tonight, Lord, replace self-hatred with compassion. Replace hopelessness with courage. Replace emotional exhaustion with peace. and where darkness has lasted too long. Bring light slowly back into the heart, not overwhelming light, not forced happiness, but gentle hope, quiet hope, the kind of hope that whispers softly, "You will survive this season too, because, Father, there is still life ahead. There are still peaceful mornings ahead. There are still healing moments ahead. There are still reasons to keep going, even if this person cannot fully see them tonight." So, while they rest now, please strengthen them quietly. Restore what stress has drained. Restore what fear has weakened. Restore what heartbreak has damaged. And let tomorrow arrive with a little more peace, a little more calm, a little more strength. Because, Lord, sometimes miracles begin very quietly. Sometimes healing begins with one peaceful night. Sometimes hope begins with finally feeling safe enough to rest. So, tonight, let every tired listener rest safely in your presence. And while they sleep, continue healing the parts of them that the world cannot see. Continue strengthening the heart that has grown weary. Continue comforting the soul that has carried too much pain for too long, and let them wake tomorrow, remembering this: they survived another difficult night, and you were beside them through all of it. Father, waiting can become exhausting, especially when someone has been praying for a very long time. Praying for healing, praying for peace, praying for answers, praying for life to finally become lighter. And yet, sometimes, nothing seems to change. The same worries remain. The same struggles remain. The same emotional heaviness remains. And slowly, discouragement begins to grow. Because waiting is difficult, especially when people feel tired already. Father, there are people listening tonight who feel emotionally worn down from waiting, waiting for good news, waiting for financial breakthrough, waiting for emotional healing, waiting for relationships to improve, waiting for anxiety to finally quiet down, waiting for life to stop feeling so heavy. And, Lord, sometimes silence feels confusing. People begin wondering if you still hear them, if you still see them, if you still care. Because when prayers seem unanswered, the heart can become discouraged, especially after long seasons of pain. But Father, tonight, please remind every waiting heart that silence does not mean abandonment. You are still working quietly. Even when human eyes cannot see it, you are still moving gently. Behind the scenes of their life, you are still present, inside every uncertain season. And Lord, sometimes people expect healing to happen instantly, but many times You work slowly, carefully, patiently, healing hearts layer by layer, restoring exhausted souls. Little by little, teaching people to trust you, even before circumstances change. And Father, that kind of waiting can feel lonely sometimes, especially during the night, especially when emotions feel heavy, especially when someone has cried the same prayer over and over again. So, tonight, please sit beside every discouraged person listening, every tired soul who feels forgotten, every anxious heart that has grown weary from waiting, and remind them softly that you have not abandoned them, not for one moment, even during the silence. You stayed close, even during confusion. You stayed faithful, even during disappointment. You stayed present. And Lord, some listeners tonight feel emotionally exhausted because they keep trying to force solutions, trying to control timing, trying to predict outcomes, trying to understand everything. But Father, some things only become clear later. Sometimes people do not understand why they walked through painful seasons until much further down the road. And while they wait, fear often grows louder. Fear that nothing will improve. Fear that peace will never return. Fear that life may always feel this difficult. But tonight, Lord, please calm those fears gently, because the future is still in your hands. The story is not finished yet. Healing is not finished yet. Restoration is not finished yet. And even now, you are still quietly working. So tonight, Father, teach every tired heart how to rest while waiting, not panic while waiting, not overthink while waiting, not lose hope while waiting, but rest, because waiting becomes less frightening when people remember they are not waiting alone. You are inside the waiting too. You are present in the uncertainty. You are near in the silence. And Father, for the person listening tonight who feels emotionally stuck, please breathe hope back into them. Not pressure, not forced positivity, but peaceful hope, gentle hope, the kind of hope that slowly quiets fear, the kind of hope that helps exhausted people. Keep moving forward, Lord. Some hearts listening tonight have become tired from disappointment after disappointment. They hoped things would improve sooner. They hoped life would feel easier by now. But instead, they still feel emotionally heavy, still uncertain, still overwhelmed. So tonight, please comfort those hearts deeply. Let them know they are not forgotten. You still hear every prayer, even the quiet prayers, even the exhausted prayers, even the prayers spoken through tears. Nothing escapes your attention. Nothing is beyond your care. And Lord, while this person rests tonight, continue working quietly inside their life. Continue healing unseen wounds. Continue restoring exhausted emotions. Continue preparing peace they cannot yet see. Because many miracles begin invisibly, many answers begin silently. Many healing seasons begin slowly, and even tonight. While this listener lies here tired, you are still working, still protecting, still guiding, still loving, still carrying them forward. So, Father, help every anxious heart tonight. Release the pressure to have everything figured out. Help them trust you, one day at a time, one breath at a time, one quiet prayer at a time. And as they continue waiting, let them feel your presence more deeply than ever before. Not distant, not cold, not absent, but near, gentle, faithful, loving. Because even in waiting seasons, you remain a good God, and even here tonight, inside uncertainty, inside exhaustion, inside silence, you are still holding them close. Father, some minds never seem to fully rest, even at night, when the room becomes quiet. Thoughts continue running, one worry after another, one fear after another, one imagined scenario after another, and sometimes the mind becomes so overwhelmed that even lying in bed feels exhausting. Because anxious thoughts can become very loud at night, especially when someone has been carrying stress for a long time. The future begins to feel frightening. Small problems begin to feel enormous. The heart beats faster. The breathing becomes shallow, and peace starts feeling very far away. Father, there are people listening tonight whose minds feel tired but cannot slow down. People trapped in cycles of overthinking. People replaying conversations, replaying mistakes, replaying fears, trying to predict tomorrow, trying to prepare for every possible outcome, and slowly. Mental exhaustion grows deeper. So tonight, Lord, please bring peace to anxious minds, not temporary distraction, not emotional numbness, but deep calm, the kind of calm that reaches all the way into the nervous system, the kind of calm that quiets fear slowly, the kind of calm that allows tired people to finally breathe again. Father, some listeners tonight have spent so much time worrying that they no longer remember what inner stillness feels like. Their thoughts keep moving constantly, even during prayer, even during silence, even while trying to sleep. And eventually, their body becomes tired because their mind never stops fighting. But tonight, Lord, please interrupt the overthinking. Interrupt the panic. Interrupt the fear loops. Interrupt the mental noise and let your peace settle gently over every racing thought, because many exhausted people tonight are trying so hard to control things they cannot control, trying to predict the future, trying to avoid pain, trying to prevent disappointment, trying to prepare for every possible heartbreak. But Father, human minds were never created to carry endless fear. That is why anxiety becomes so exhausting. So tonight, help every listener. Release the pressure slowly, not all at once, just little by little, like unclenching a tired hand, like relaxing after a long storm, like finally setting down a burden that has become too heavy. Father, please remind every anxious heart tonight that they are safe with you, safe even in uncertainty, safe even when life feels unclear, safe even while waiting for answers, because your presence does not depend on perfect circumstances. You stay close, even during difficult seasons. And Lord, for the person listening tonight, whose thoughts feel uncontrollable, please slow their breathing now. Let each breath become softer, slower, calmer. Let tension leave the shoulders. Let stress leave the chest. Let fear slowly loosen its grip. And while they breathe tonight, let your peace fill every anxious space inside them, because some people have been carrying stress for so long that their body forgot how to rest. Their nervous system stays alert. Their mind stays guarded. Their heart stays tense, always expecting something bad to happen, always preparing for danger, always afraid peace will disappear. But tonight, Lord, please teach exhausted hearts how to feel safe again. Safe enough to breathe deeply. Safe enough to stop overthinking. Safe enough to sleep peacefully. Safe enough to let go. Because fear has been controlling some minds for too long. And tonight, we ask you to replace fear with stillness, replace panic with calm, replace mental exhaustion with rest, replace chaos with peace. Father, some listeners tonight feel trapped inside their own thoughts, and the more they try to stop worrying, the louder anxiety becomes. But Lord, you understand anxious minds completely. You understand fear. You understand emotional exhaustion. You understand the hidden panic people rarely speak about. So, tonight, please hold every anxious heart gently. No shame, no pressure, no condemnation, only peace, only compassion, only rest. And Lord, while this person lies here tonight, help them remember softly that they do not need to solve every problem tonight. They do not need to understand the future tonight. They do not need to carry every burden tonight. Right now, they only need to breathe. Only breathe. Slowly, gently, peacefully, because you are already here. You are already beside them. You are already watching over them, even now, especially now. So, Father, let the room grow quieter tonight. Let the thoughts grow softer tonight. Let the fear grow weaker tonight. And let your peace become stronger than anxiety, stronger than panic, stronger than overthinking, stronger than fear. And as tired eyes slowly grow heavy, and as breathing slowly becomes calm, let every anxious listener finally experience stillness again. Not because life suddenly became perfect, but because your presence has become a place of safety tonight, a place of rest, a place of quiet, a place where exhausted minds can finally stop fighting and simply rest. Inside your peace tonight, Father, the night is becoming quieter now. The world is slowing down. The noise of the day is beginning to fade. And tonight, we rest in your presence, not rushing, not striving, not trying to carry everything anymore. Just resting, slowly, peacefully, safely. Father, please let this room be filled with calm tonight. Let every anxious thought grow softer. Let every heavy emotion become lighter. Let every tired breath slow down gently, because some hearts tonight have been exhausted for a very long time, and they no longer need pressure. They no longer need fear. They no longer need to fight tonight. They simply need rest. So, Lord, please cover every listener with peace now. Deep peace, quiet peace, gentle peace, the kind of peace that settles slowly over the mind and body, the kind of peace that allows exhausted people to finally let go. Father, some listeners tonight have not felt emotionally safe in a very long time. Life has felt uncertain, heavy, overwhelming, and even moments of silence have felt stressful. But tonight, please let your presence become a safe place, a place where fear does not control the mind anymore, a place where the body can finally relax, a place where tired hearts can finally stop fighting. Lord, help every listener breathe slowly now, in and out, slowly, gently, peacefully. Let the shoulders relax. Let the jaw soften. Let the tension leave the chest. Let the mind become quieter now, because you are here, right here, in this room, in this silence, in this moment. And no matter how difficult life has felt lately, This person is not alone tonight. You are watching over them, lovingly, faithfully, gently. Father, please stand guard over every anxious mind tonight. Protect every exhausted heart. Protect every weary soul. Let no fear disturb their rest. Let no panic steal their peace. Let no darkness convince them. They are abandoned because even now you are still near, especially now, Lord, while they rest tonight. Please calm the nervous system, calm the racing thoughts, calm the hidden fears, calm the emotional exhaustion deep inside the body. Let peace move slowly through every breath, through every heartbeat, through every tired thought, like soft rain falling gently in the darkness, like warm light inside a quiet room, like safety after a very long storm. Father, some listeners tonight are carrying pain they cannot even explain anymore. Pain that became part of daily life. Stress that never fully leaves. Emotional heaviness that quietly follows them everywhere. But tonight, for just this moment, please let them rest. No pretending. No pressure. No expectations. Only peace. Only quiet. Only rest. Because exhausted souls need gentleness. They need compassion. They need stillness. And Lord, you are gentle with tired people. You do not shame overwhelmed hearts. You do not rush anxious minds. You move slowly, patiently, lovingly. So, tonight, Father, please let every listener feel emotionally held by you, held safely, held gently, held without fear. And while they lie here tonight, remind them softly that they survived today. Even if today felt difficult, even if today felt exhausting, even if today felt emotionally heavy, they survived it, and you stayed beside them through all of it. So now they can rest. They can stop carrying the weight of the day. They can stop replaying everything. They can stop fighting for a little while, because you are still awake. You are still watching over them. You are still protecting them, and they are safe to sleep now, very slowly. Let every worried thought drift further away, further and further. Let the body grow heavier now. Let the breathing become slower now. Let the room become softer now, because peace is here. Your peace. Not temporary peace, not fragile peace, but deep peace. The kind of peace that reaches exhausted places inside the soul. And Father, while sleep slowly comes tonight, please continue healing every hidden wound, every anxious thought, every fearful memory, every exhausted emotion. Continue restoring the parts of this person that the world cannot see. Continue bringing calm to places inside them that have carried stress for too long. Continue whispering peace over their heart tonight, because some healing happens quietly. Some healing happens during rest. Some healing happens when exhausted people finally feel safe enough to let go. So tonight, Lord, let this sleep be peaceful. Let this sleep be deep. Let this sleep be safe. And while they rest tonight, let your presence remain close, closer than fear, closer than loneliness, closer than anxious thoughts, closer than the pain they have been carrying. Because no matter how difficult this season has been, they are still loved, still seen, still protected, still held gently inside your care tonight. So now the mind grows quieter, the breathing grows slower, the body grows heavier, and the heart finally begins to rest safely, peacefully, deeply. Inside your presence tonight, Father, before this night grows even quieter, we thank you for staying near to us through fear, through exhaustion, through uncertainty, through every difficult thought that weighed heavily on the heart tonight. You remained here, faithfully, gently, lovingly. And now, Lord, as tired eyes slowly close and breathing becomes softer, we place this entire night into your hands. Every burden, every fear, every unanswered question, every hidden sadness, we surrender all of it to you now. Because tonight, we no longer want to carry what is too heavy for us. We only want to rest safely, quietly, peacefully, inside your presence. Father, please bless every listener tonight with deep rest, not restless sleep, not anxious sleep, but peaceful sleep, healing sleep, the kind of rest that quiets the nervous system, the kind of rest that restores exhausted hearts, the kind of rest that reminds tired souls they are safe with you, Lord. For the person listening tonight, whose heart still feels heavy, please whisper peace to them now, softly, gently, lovingly. Remind them that they do not need to fear tomorrow, because tomorrow is already in your hands. They do not need to have everything figured out tonight. They do not need to stay strong tonight. They do not need to carry every burden tonight. They only need to rest, because you are still with them, even now, especially now. Father, please place calm over every worried mind tonight. Let stress grow quiet. Let fear grow distant. Let anxious thoughts become softer and softer, like waves slowly settling, like rain slowly fading, like darkness becoming peaceful instead of frightening. And Lord, while this listener rests tonight, please continue protecting them. Protect their heart. Protect their mind. Protect their emotions. Protect their sleep. Let no fear disturb them tonight. Let no painful memory overwhelm them tonight. Let no anxiety steal the peace you are giving them now, because this night belongs to you. This room belongs to you. This exhausted heart belongs to you. And Father, you are gentle with tired people, so very gentle. You understand emotional exhaustion. You understand silent suffering. You understand hidden sadness, and you never shame people for being weary. Instead, you move closer, closer to the anxious, closer to the overwhelmed, closer to the lonely, closer to the exhausted. So tonight, let every listener feel held by you, held safely, held peacefully, held without pressure, held without fear. And while sleep slowly deepens tonight, let every breath become calmer, slower, softer, more peaceful, because the battle is over for tonight. The striving is over for tonight. The overthinking is over for tonight. Now, there is only rest, only peace, only quiet, only your presence. Father, some listeners tonight have been emotionally strong for a very long time, too long, and deep inside, they are tired. So tonight, please carry them while they sleep. Carry the burdens they can no longer hold. Carry the stress they no longer know how to release. Carry the sadness they no longer know how to explain. And let their soul finally feel light again, even if only for tonight. Because sometimes one peaceful night can begin healing. An exhausted heart, one peaceful night can remind a hurting person that hope still exists. One peaceful night can help someone breathe again. So, Lord, let this night be peaceful. Let this room feel safe. Let this heart feel calm. And while darkness fills the sky outside, let your presence fill every quiet space inside this room. Closer now, softer now, more peaceful now. Father, thank you for staying beside us through every difficult season. Thank you for not abandoning us during exhaustion. Thank you for loving us, even during our weakest moments. And thank you for being a place of peace for tired souls tonight. So now, let every thought grow quiet. Let every fear grow distant. Let every muscle relax. Let every heartbeat slow gently. And let sleep come peacefully now, because you are still here, still watching over us, still protecting us, still carrying us, still loving us, even now, especially now. So tonight, we rest safely with you. Tonight, we release every burden to you. Tonight, we stop fighting Tonight, we finally breathe again. And tonight, we sleep peacefully, inside the presence of God. Amen.